dimple and flash of perfect teeth. "Murder?" Pamela half rose from the sofa. "You didn't say he was murdered." "Clunked right on the head," Holly began. Bettina finished the thought. "In his own kitchen." Karen, a delicate blonde with a diffident manner, shuddered. The evening was warm for the end of March, and the door still stood open as this conversation took place, so there was no need for Nell Bascom to ring. She simply stepped into the doorway with a cheerful greeting, her white hair floating in a cloud around her face. But her cheer faded as Bettina continued speaking. Then he fell, hit his head on the edge of his counter, and again on his tile floor. "One or both of those bumps are probably what killed him," Claiborne said, "though there's been no autopsy yet." "This is sad news for our little town," Nell said. "Harold came home from the co-op grocery today and reported that everyone he ran into was buzzing about it, wondering what will become of Diefenbach's ambitious plans for the town." She put a comforting arm around Karen. "Shall we sit down and get to work? There's nothing like knitting to soothe the spirits." Their jackets stowed in the closet, she and Karen made their way to the sofa, where they settled in beside Pamela, who had already extracted her project from her knitting bag. It was to be a gift for her daughter Penny, a lacy tunic in a delicate shade of lilac. Penny had picked out the pattern and the yarn, a silk and merino wool blend, at Christmas, and the tunic had been Pamela's Knit and Nibble project ever since. Bettina and Holly lingered at the door, looking out toward the yard, and a moment later Rolland DeCamp stepped over the threshold. "I believe I'm the last one," he said, scanning the room, and he pulled the door closed behind him. "Take an armchair, Rolland, please." Bettina gestured toward the armchairs that faced the sofa across a long coffee table. "And you too, Holly." "No, no, no." Rolland waved his free hand in a dismissive gesture. In his other, he carried the impressive leather briefcase in which he stored his knitting. "You ladies, please, have the armchairs. I'll be fine with one of these cushions on the hearth." A row of bright cushions lined up on Bettina's hearth complemented the sage green and tan color scheme of her living room. He strode toward the fireplace and perched on a cushion, looking somewhat incongruous in the flawlessly tailored pinstripe suit and aggressively starched shirt that marked him as a high-powered corporate lawyer. Holly had pulled out her knitting needles and was casting on with fuzzy yarn in a vibrant shade of green, but once everyone was settled, she broke the silence. "What were Bill Diefenbach's plans for the town?" she asked. "Desmond and I spend so much time at work in Meadowside, we know more about town politics there than right here in Arborville, where we live." Rolland and Nell spoke at once. Their voices overlapped, with Rolland observing, "Excellent ideas. Just the leader Arborville needed," while Nell commented, "Horribly distressing. No sense of what makes Arborville Arborville." "Well," Holly laughed and the dimple appeared. "You first, Nell." Nell surveyed the group with her faded blue eyes. The hands holding her knitting needles trembled slightly. "I'll grant he gave a lot of his time to the town, heading up the arborists and serving on the town council for years and years, and then taking on the job of mayor. But he wanted to sell the community gardens to a developer. The community gardens serve a valuable purpose, especially for people who live in apartments. And Arborville doesn't need more development." Rolland was leaning forward, his lean face intense and his knitting forgotten for the moment. "Of course it does," he said. "My property taxes go up every year, and everybody likes the things their taxes pay for, like the schools and the police and road repair, though I'm still waiting for the broken curb in front of my house to be fixed. More development means more people to share the tax burden. The developer wanted to get that land rezoned for a high-rise." Nell was leaning forward, too, her expression more sad than intense. "Can you imagine a high-rise looming over a residential neighborhood and with commercial space at street level? Arborville doesn't have adequate parking for its existing shops. That could be easily remedied."